Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. If I hit all the correct buttons, you should be hearing myself right now as we get underway for our second heat of the day here on stream number 2. It's LGD Forever Young taking on VG Gaming, VGJ, if you will, the Jeremy Lin squad.
Yep.
I am here with my good buddy Fogged, and feeling pretty good. Bit of a shaky start there to get a little bit of technical trouble, but I believe our stream is live, and we are good to go.
Small technical issues, but you know what? Doesn't matter. We always break through it. Doesn't matter if we're in Shanghai. Doesn't matter where we are.
Doesn't matter. The Dota lives on. That's what we're all about right now. So here we go. Already a draft well underway here. You were looking a bit at LGD Forever Young. This is a team that most people are looking at as to be the lowest of the Chinese teams, or maybe like probably the, I don't want to say the runt, but this is the rookie squad. And they still have a lot to prove for themselves when you got other big names like Newbie, VGJ, IG now making a strong case for themselves. LGD Forever Young really need to pull out a lot of stops if they want to have their own namesake in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to emphasize a lot on teams are looking at offlaners, offlaners, offlaners. The first bans are going to be all the offlaners. First picks is pretty much going to be an offlaner and a carrier, offlaner support. Everybody is just picking their offlaner in the first phase pretty much. And as we see already coming out, the bans, the Centaur Abaddon, these are heroes that we're seeing everywhere. LFY knows these teams now, knows VGJ as well because they've been playing versus a lot of the Chinese teams in DPL. While VGJ banning out the Legion Commander, we know that's pretty much Jixing's favorite hero, I'm pretty sure. So they get rid of that. The Juggernaut is a very standard ban out as well. And yeah, we look at the trade-off that they get. LFY gets a Slardar, and VGJ gets Lifestealer Mag. So not too shabby. I think it's a pretty okay trade-off so far.
I'm curious about the inspiration behind going for the immediate Lifestealer grab. I wonder if any part of that was to deny that pick from LGD Forever Young. We already know how potent a Slardar Lifestealer duo can be, but they get to move right into what is another great synergy pairing with that minus armor and go right for the Weaver.
Yeah, he's great versus the Lifestealer. Just, you know, he's very hard to catch. Minus armor as well with the bugs, good versus Magnus. It's definitely a good approach for what they want to, but, you know, Mag is always one of those heroes that's very feared right now just because of how powerful and power is just to just enable your carry to farm super quickly, and then in those team fights, RP just seems like it's always up, even though we did see a slight increase in the cooldown at the later stages.
Yeah.
It's still the same early game, but now when he's level 18, when he's level 12, it stays at 120. It doesn't get reduced down to 100.
I mean, I'm a happy boy here. I'm sure most hype casters are happy. As long as Magnus is in the meta, that means you get big team fight and a lot of excitement. Good crowd pleaser overall. But now moving into the second phase of bans here, LGD getting rid of the prominent Coddle, and VGJ getting rid of the Ursa here, one of the heroes that would be able to kind of man up against the Lifestealer in this kind of a game. So moving forward from there, you already recognize the Slardar Weaver hit squad. And a lot of these Chinese teams have shown a tremendous amount of flexibility. You see Slardar, but you can't make the assumption on where he's going to go. I've seen them really take all these heroes and put them all over the place. I've been seeing Legion Commander mids in DPL. I've been seeing everything.
Venom mid with a Monkey King, apparently, the dual lane. Like, yeah, people are, this is what happens, all right? We had a 7.03 patch, and then very quickly right afterwards, we have a 7.0. Kind of balance changes, but 7.03 was massive.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that people may still have overlooked. There's still experimentations coming out.
Oh, yeah. I'm hearing rumors that, you know, Pugna is slowly creeping his way into relevance based on the mighty buffs he's been given. We saw a little bit of a gyrocopter earlier, but that was not the best showcase for what a lot of teams have been getting excited about with the gyrocopter.
I like this ban from VGJ. It's something that LFY was doing in DPL as well. When the Magnus was picked up, they would actually normally would pick it up in the first two, the Winter Wyvern, just because, you know, you could, if it's usually, you know, physical damage. The Magnus gets the RP, the follow-up with the Empower is the target gets, you can save the target, and you can counter-initiate with the Winter's Curse on top. So it's a cool approach that LFY was doing, and VGJ knows this team, so them getting rid of that. The other big support that always stands out, at least for LFY for me, is their Crystal Maiden. They pick this hero 90% of the time. It synergizes quite well with both of these. If they do want to leave the Slardar's options open as being a support still, that does allow him to do that because you get the mana, you get the setup for the Slardar to catch too. So it could be one of the possibilities they want, but it's not very good versus, you know, Lifestealer.
Yeah, of course. And now the Rubik going to be taken care of there. So we're going to be moving right back into some picks.
To get rid of that FY Rubik.
Yeah.
I think it's an appropriate ban versus the Weaver Slardar. Incredible. Both heroes, all the spells you can steal are pretty good. You're not really going to get time lapse, but everything else you can take from those two is very good. And it gives them, it's just a comfort pick. It always fits well.
What do you think about Freeze as a mid lane player? I've been hearing a lot of mixed bag
I think
between them.
I think that's a very appropriate thing
Some
to say.
games he's hot. Some games you're kind of like, oh, well, he didn't really stand a chance. But
he has his moments.
he has
though.
his moments,
like
man.
At Star Ladder, especially. I know this is quite far back, but he had like that Storm game where he wasn't doing so good, and then ROTK was like, "Dude, I got you. I'll make you look even better." And then Free started playing out of his mind. So he definitely has a lot of potential for him.
He definitely has a really good hero pool too. I mean,
Yes.
every time I tune in, he seems to be playing something different. So that could be a testament to how flexible he is with a bunch of different heroes in the meta, or maybe he's finding his groove. I'm not too sure. VGJ, though, moving right into the prominent Earth Spirit pickup here. I don't always get to see FY play this hero, but I did tune in recently to a DPL matchup, and he plays it great. I mean, he does what you need to do. You hit those early game strong points, making pressure across the lanes, posing threats to the mid laner or the safe lane, and just trying to get some openings there.
Yeah,
FY, Fenrir, these guys have been doing it forever.
Yeah, it's a great combo hero. It gives them more. You know, both the Magnus and the Earth Spirit, they're both these kind of heroes that it's like, I don't want to go in first. You go in first. You know, you never really want to be the first one. But now they have like this double initiation.
Yep.
They have the Lifestealer can get infested inside of the Earth Spirit, so he doesn't need the Blink Dagger per se early on. He can be that vehicle for him with the Rolling Boulder. And then it's just great versus the Weaver and the Slardar.
Lots of team fight already coming out, but then a response of their own team fight comes out as you're seeing your Magnus Earth Spirit try to make jump in plays. Now you have potential combo breaker power with your Tidehunter here.
Gives away a lot, though. It does. I mean, it is a Tidehunter, so you know it's going to be off lane. So that means Weaver, like 90%, 99% chance he's carry. Slardar is going to be the 4.
Yep.
So it does reveal a lot of what their plan is in the lanes right now.
Yeah. I'm always a little suspect of that Slardar 4. You know, either you can make a huge impact in the early game, but if things don't work out, then you're kind of a Slardar who's not getting a Blink Dagger anytime soon. And but the nice thing is that they get the Tidehunter, so if he's not able to get that Blink Dagger, they have someone else who can kind of start the show, and then Slardar can be there to kind of roll in. But back the way of
great counter initiator from the Tidehunter versus Mag. Like if the Tide even gets caught in the RP, Kraken Shell, he's able to remove it out, and then you get you get your counter initiation. He's a mech carrier as well, which helps versus the massive amount of physical damage that comes out from the Mag and the Empower. Guarding Greed buildups eventually versus their Spirit. It's just a you can kind of see what they want. VGJ going for the Disruptor. So more catch, more team fight, emphasizing heavily on it, and Disruptor probably the best hero versus Tidehunter because you can't Kraken Shell off an AoE silence.
That's correct. And without much hesitation here, LGD go right into the Bane pickup now.
Addressing the Lifestealer more rather than going for like their natural Crystal Maiden as we were mentioning, which it does fit great with their draft, but they're like, okay, we need to focus more on this Lifestealer still.
Now they get their BKB or Magic Immune Piercing ulti and lockdown there. And there are ways for them to be able to easily cancel it. A slight glimpse from across the way, Earth Spirit kick. So positioning is going to be of the utmost importance for this Bane if they want to get a good setup for the Lifestealer. But even Enfeeble will pay some good dividends for him in the late game.
Yeah, Enfeeble will be cool late game, and then in laning phase, Bane is always just this beefy laner, right? And with now he gives the setup for the Slardar. He can get the sleep off. Then you can get the setup for the stun, or he can just be this like dual laner and just mess with stuff and force people to get experience. Let's say the Tidehunter, Bane Tidehunter, pretty decent dual lane to try to force some experience versus this Lifestealer Earth Spirit Disruptor. Force the Earth Spirit to stay in the safe lane. Cool little approach if that's what they are looking to do.
That's definitely one of the best things you can do. You'll even see teams pull out like the aggro lanes just to see if they can keep Earth Spirit in check and not allow him to really have that early game. And then he doesn't farm and quickly becomes irrelevant until the later game. Razorban, intriguing enough. He's been getting a little bit of love in these patches, especially the later talents have been kind of buffed a bit, but maybe just fearing a lane dominator. But there's another one. OD comes out as the final pick for LGD Forever Young. Yet to find out who his matchup is going to be here, but the ball's in VGJ's court now. They know what they're going to be going up against, and they have the opportunity to kind of counter it or make it work for them. But there's only so many heroes out there that can really take it to an OD.
Yeah, I do like this LFY draft, though. It does show a lot of openness. They lack maybe a little bit of tower push, but they have great AoE team fight. They have good setup. It's looking like they're addressing what they wanted to do, but you're still playing versus this Wombo combo massive lineup as well from VG. Magnus is just, you have to watch your clump. They do at least have the counter initiate, and they have the Astral as well and all that. So,
ooh, Lady Lena comes out.
We are seeing this hero gain a lot of popularity.
What is it, though? What is it about? She's been receiving some sleeper buffs that we don't know too much about. Maybe some of the other heroes getting nerfed down makes her a bit more relevant.
Yeah, some small buffs, and it's a hero that will always be able to. This is going to be it's mid, right? So it'll be offlane Mag. So he'll be able to always get CS, just being able to nuke. He has high burst since they know this is a Weaver core. high burst versus the Weaver core is very ideal. So the Lina pickup is pretty cool here. He's just been getting tons of buffs. He instantly respawns at level 10, you know, lots of burn. Yeah, it's a cool pickup, and I think I'm really happy to see just the way that these patches are building out so that all the heroes are starting to get more involved.
Do you think that the Bane is going to make an approach to the mid lane to kind of threaten the Lina a bit, or do you think he's going to find his way in the side lane? Because otherwise the OD could risk being approached by Lina and Earth Spirit. It's a fair amount of lockdown, and I'm curious if the OD should be fine in the matchup or if he's going to need some help.
I think he'll probably mirror the Earth Spirit's movements like we've seen like a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but when people were picking like the Ogre Undyings, it's just like follow that guy around. That's your job. Make sure you know exactly where he is. The OD just has to maybe watch himself a little bit with his Astral when he doesn't know where the Earth Spirit is. If he like Astrals aggressively or something, and then he can get set up on by Rolling Boulder and Lina burst. So I think maybe that's what they also were going for with this Lina, is the potential just being able to burst down the OD in the mid lane.
This is the first game for both of these teams as we get into it now and we get underway. I actually don't think I have any Dota audio, unfortunately. Do you have Dota audio?
Doesn't sound like it. Sounds a little staticky.
Yeah, so I don't know. We may be going into this without too much extra audio here. I don't hear anything from inside the game, so hopefully, I don't know. Maybe it'll get resolved. Hopefully the stream hears the audio.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Which is what's important, but we are going to be leading into a pause. Didn't get to ask you, but based on the draft, maybe any early predictions on who you think is going to kind of get the upper hand in this one? VGJ are expected to be the favorites in this, as LFY has mentioned before, a group of rookies still trying to establish themselves, have had some hot and cold success through DPL, but VGJ are like the big boys on the block with their Star Series run. Some might suspect their recent DPL games have been a bit hot and cold as well, but based on what they've been able to pick up for themselves, who do you think is going to start strong in game number 1?
I like both drafts. It's hard to say just because it's so dependent on how the offlaners go for both teams. It's like if ROTK gets a good start and he gets a pretty timely Blink Dagger, it's very heavily Vici favors. However, if the Tidehunter is able to do really well in the offlane and he gets, say, a really early mech and the Slaughter is able to find rotations, it could work out really well. But I would probably just favor Vici just because they're a more comfortable team and they have some comfort heroes like the ROTK Mag with the aggressive Lifestealer. I think the Lifestealer into the OD as well is pretty decent. Like they have the Weaver and the Bane to be able to deal with the Lifestealer, but Lifestealer versus OD, if you can get on him, it's a huge problem for him. And they don't really have any, I guess you could say they don't really have any like defensive supports to kind of save the OD. They have a Sleep and maybe the Tide to follow up with him, but they don't have anything like a Grave or something to just save him if he does just get grabbed.
All right, looks like we are going to be finishing up on our pause. Oh my God, where is the last hit button on this? I'm just going to find it. Using the, nope. Okay, there we go. Using someone else's Steam account. Here we go. Well, let's get into it now. We're gonna
How dare you share accounts?
Yeah, well, you know, ease of processes. Apparently we're going back-to-back games. A lot of Dota, folks. A lot of heats coming your way. As we get into action here for Group A. VGJ, one of the top 3 favorites. LFY, creeping slowly here through the bottom lane, but not getting too assertive on going cross-country. But now they've popped the smoke, and they're looking to maybe lead things off with a strong initiation here. Sleep into stun and some right clicks.
You did say that there's those teams that like to just throw the aggressive tri-lanes to force the Earth Spirit to not be able to make the rotations. It does look like that's what LFY is looking to do.
It's very nice to be able to keep him in check. Earth Spirit, as we know, not really great at farming, and if he can't get that strong head start, he becomes irrelevant. It feels really, really fast, but FY's been around the block in this kind of position, so we're already heading up towards this top lane to kind of scout out the bounty situation, while we see the same for LFY. No one even there. VGJ, not even going to bother.
Yeah, I think VG just is very aware that this is happening. So Tidehunter matchup versus the Mag. Mag does, however, have a Iron Talon and Tangos to start, while the Tidehunter is very ready to go for that 1v1.
Whoa. All right, yeah.
So let's see. The first ward's coming out. The TP from the Earth Spirit into the mid lane. He puts the mid ward and he puts the top ward and he blocks the extra pull camp. So they have their vision set up. LFY then smokes and put a mid ward as well. So those mid wards were not spotted by either team. So both of the mid laners will be quite happy with their vision.
Well, we got to see how happy they're going to be with the matchup and how much interference could be coming in from the opposing team's supports or not. You can already see that beginning here. FY getting in that crucial early position.
The abandoned bottom lane. Nobody down there.
LFY is just kind of like, what's happening, man? No one wants to play? No, RTK's got his claw, and he's going right to the jungle. That was all the meta for a while here. But here we go. Rolling Boulder on in. Swing and a miss for FY, unfortunately. And, you know, that's how it goes. You don't get that first connection. That slow doesn't make for the easy LSA setup. Or he went Dragon Slave, rather, at level 1. So just kind of pressing him a bit. But, you know, Super has the creep wave there. It's not too much of a problem. But like you said, now the Bane shows up and he's like, okay, you want to play in the mid lane? I'll be here too. And now we have every mid laner's favorite 2v2 matchup.
Yep. The thing is that this is, FY, very aggressive.
Very ambitious, gets hit. But they will hit him with the Astral. Bane begins rolling in. Are they going to try to make something out of it here? He's got to slowly walk his way back, and he is getting punished for it. There's the Brain Sap.
Uphill miss.
But he barely manages to make it out and away.
Yeah, pretty sure he would have died. That uphill miss from the OD. Unfortunate for them. They would have probably grabbed the kill there. But nice thing for LFY is they have an absolute free lane for the Weaver. Now it's up to the supports. Got to, you know, take the emphasis off this, though. You need to be sure to do something now. It's like supports, this is on you two. White and the Bane, they got to just make the moves.
So Slardar, what's Slardar going to do? Should he go out and hunt for ROTK? He's not one setup ready for any sort of jungle play. He's just like, I'll just grab bounties, I guess. And I'm curious to see where it is he's going to put his priority now.
If the Bane is going to be the one being the mirror movement guy, then he needs to just maximize.
Ooh, they try to make a go. For the Bane here, a swing and a miss on the roll from FY as a tussle for the bounty rune is going to get snagged up from Fenrir. Now connects with the kinetic field. Is the Bane going to be able to make it away from this one? He has no more brain sap, but too many right clicks. Another miss on the rolling boulder. He actually ends up connecting onto the Slardar. Can the Bane get away from this? Sap. He gets it off now, but puts himself within the trees. They need more right clicks. One more should do it, and they get it done. Crush comes out, though. And FY could find himself in trouble, and it's going to be a trade. 1-1 apiece here. FY, man, not connecting with these rolling boulders could make this so much easier, but it's been tough. And now Fenrir's like, please, Wolves, please deny me. And he does end up getting the deny.
Got a little scary for him for a moment. RTK gets his level 2, and he makes his way onto his bottom lane, so now he's going to be able to contest versus the Weaver a little bit. But, yeah, Weaver's free farming completely.
Yeah, but now the Bane rolls in. It's like, oh, you want to come back to the lane? Weaver hits him with the bugs. He hits him with the sap, and RTK gets a shockwave, but the bug! He goes down, and he might go back to the jungle.
I think he might, yeah.
That is tough, and now you go back to the lane, and you hand over, of all people, Monet, the kill on that Weaver. So you get a free lane and a free kill? I'll take that. Very nice stuff. Leading in CS already, though, is going to be the Lina in that matchup against the OD. 20-10 CS game. I mean, were you expecting it to be this one-sided?
The rotations, just like we're putting a little bit of pressure on the OD. He also got empowered at level 1, so he got a couple extras, and he's just able to spam. So I think you kind of expect it to be like fairly even. I don't think the OD should be that far behind, but that might just happen just because of the pressure from FY.
Yeah, he's pressuring. Maybe not too much connection, but he's making his presence known in the lane. He's being that threat, and it does shake things up for Super a bit. Throws him off his game. How have things been going up here? The free lane for Tidehunter has proven pretty valuable. 18-2 for him, but aggressive also is kind of winning in the bread game. 20-5 on him. So I imagine Tidehunter sticks up here till he gets a good chunk of farm. It looks like he has slated arcane boots plus a ring.
Yep, probably going for that early mech. Just go for that 5-man.
And just get to a quick level 6. Do you get level 6 and try to get that ulti to work right away here, or do you just nourish the lane while you can?
Depending on what situation comes to him. They're just like, read the movements, maybe you hold a skill point.
Just get a TP scroll.
You usually want to get the Ravage at 6. I know some people go you get like Kraken Shell on Anchor, but since he's safe lane, that's not the case. He's not farming Ancients or anything like that. You definitely want to be able to get involved as early as possible with your Ravages.
All right, ROTK back to the bottom lane once again to give it another try, but LFY have also put their aggro lane right back at full attendance here. Fenrir will try to step in and slow down their side pulling a bit, but they have a white Slardar lurking nearby, looking for his own approach here. But no easy setup.
Ports are extremely underleveled. Slardar is level 2, Bane's level 2. It's 5 minutes in already.
Yeah, they've had that awkward start once they realized the lane was totally free. Bane, it was a no-brainer. He headed right to the mid lane, but Slardar didn't really have a home for himself and still doesn't. So it's just an awkward period where he can't really farm creeps. And I don't know, minute 10, the book will probably come to him, but he's going to need some extra more help than that.
Small changes, you know, that was 7.03 where the change was where the experience, it gets harder for your supports, for everybody to gain levels. You know, that first creep wave, you don't get level 2. When you pull, you don't get, if you do a stacked pull, you barely even get like level 2 and you get 2 in a bit. Like, very big difference. It's much harder to get your 6 now on time. And all the supports in this game are actually suffering. It's like Fenrir is having a good time, but they're like setting him up for that. They're giving him this lane now so he gets as much experience as possible.
Yeah, and they're doing the same for FY in the top lane too.
Yep.
Knowing that he wasn't able to get too many kills, eventually he's going to have to at least get some more levels into Boulder Smash and obviously get that Magnetize online.
I think both teams recognize that. They were both like, wow, our supports are super under-leveled. Like, we have to address this and come very soon.
Well, that helps a bit. White's going to be able to sneak in and grab up the bounty rune there for himself and take his business back towards the bottom. But lots of attention to the farming game and not too much proactive movement. Aside from the start from VGJ, they haven't really found too many openings now. So
farming game too. Jixing, the Tidehunter, had gold for the Arcane Boots, but he actually went back to base, finished up his Magic Wand and his Iron Talon, and grabbed himself a Raindrop too. So just laning items. Make sure you can farm as much as possible. Fenrir,
deep dive coming out. Yeah, Fenrir caught behind the tower, now looking to run away from this. He's got a bug. He's got to get off his foot. Can he do it? Meanwhile, ROTK up in arms, trying to get down the Bane. The Bane will get the finish, but it looks like Aggressive is rotated over to get one himself. He will try to gobble down the Bane, and eventually he will get dropped. Not able to get in there for the last hit, but still money going to be swung their way. 3-2 now. Advantage for LFY, but you know, Lifestealer getting in on the action is pretty nice, but it does force that rotation. I guess he'll reside down here now.
This
it looks
mid lane, too. Like, a super is getting pressured, getting handled pretty hard by the Lina, to be honest. Freeze is doing incredibly well. 48 CS. Now he's going around and clearing stacks with ROTK. Very well played by him. That small pressure from the Earth Spirit looks like it just made quite a difference. And just the attack range from the Lina versus the OD. OD's not able to like walk up and Astral the Lina ever. So it's a pretty clever pickup by them.
You know, Super has been in the game for a long time. He's been a mid laner for a long time. His time on Vici, you know, but he was never like considered a top tier mid laner. I'm not trying to call out the guy right now, but you know, even in a matchup against Freeze, who's kind of one of the more new kids on the block, he's finding himself struggling a little bit here.
Lina always does well though, right? Like you can't really like make it. Lina can't like not farm unless you just like chain gang. She's just Dragon Slave.
It's unfortunate for him because Super's best heroes are like, at least from what I remember, Dragon Knights, playing Razors, and we don't see a lot of those heroes now. They're just not really in the meta, so it's a bit unfortunate for him. While ROTK, you know, I think he's loving the meta right now. He loves playing Magnus. I was mentioning before a bit. You'll see some Undying even come out from Legion Commander. He seems to be all about that playmaking here. I'm nervous because I can't hear sound, but I'm seeing all these messages. I'm like, God, I hope I'm not missing kills. Rolling Boulder out. FY was in a bit of a sticky situation, deep into enemy territory, but will make himself disappear. Getting closer to level 4. We're getting some level 6s online, certainly for our mid laners here. Freeze has got Laguna in the pocket.
He's going Soul Ring.
Fenrir's nearby.
Too, so he's going to go for that Bloodstone build. You have like the instant respawn when you have the -30 as well. Your Lina literally just always is respawning nonstop.
Yeah, I just heard about that recently. In fact, when I just showed up here, and I saw it in one of the DPL games, and it's quite ridiculous. Like, she's always relevant and always in the fight. Deep dives coming up from LFY in the top lane here. Back at mid lane, they now have even a smoked up FY at attendance. They really want to get Super down, but he is very hesitant. He actually misses with the Rolling Boulder. I think he might have got him with the grip. We'll stun him up. Kinetic Field. Rotations are going to be coming now. And one of them could be a Ravage, but Glimpse, and they send him right back. He is going to be able to get the Ravage off. They already take down Super, though. Monet's here now, but he's going to be able to get any sort of kill for it. It looks like a lot of rotations from LFY, and they might not get much for it. Now, he could maybe kick and roll from here. He's going to go for the roll, but obviously he gets body blocked. Did he not have enough mana for both?
Yeah, he was just like 15 shy of having the double.
Yeah, it's tough in that kind of situation. But now we're back even again, 4-4, but it's a good boost for VGJ, getting that initial lead takedown of the OD, forcing the rotations, forcing out the Ravage. All good for VGJ.
Yeah, the Bane was making that aggressive push in the top lane, like you said, to put the ward in, and he got RP'd and got brought down during that as well. So Lifesteal was able to pick up a nice kill on the Bane there, and ROTK gets a good chunk of gold and experience, which he very much needs.
Yep, he's going right to the blink now. Your traditional cookie-cutter Magnus build-up well underway. And Freeze still kind of just diligent and hanging with this mid lane, and as you mentioned, building up towards the Bloodstone here. So VGJ seem pretty content in playing a more passive game in the meantime, I guess. They have a lot of farm going on their Lifestealer now, and there's a little bit of threat in the bottom lane here for FY, though. Might need some assistance. He's creeping closer to that level 6, but We'll need a little bit more time. But, uh-oh, we have a hasted OD looking to show up. Pops the Astral right away. Fenrir looking to roll in. That might be the end of it, it looks like. Yeah, quick hit. ROTK shows up now, and this lane got a bit more even.
Yeah, they're content with this because, like we mentioned a little bit on, we touched a bit on the draft from LFY, is that they do struggle a bit to hit buildings. And what does VGJ have to deal with that? An enormous amount of D-push. They have the Lina Dragon's Slave, they have the Shockwave from the Magnus, and then they can have the Disruptor. He isn't D-push, but he is that fear factor. You know, it's like, okay, if we don't pressure properly and we don't escape properly, one of us is glimpsed and we're dead.
Yep. Very true. And they look to roll themselves right back out.
Yeah, very hard for LFY to approach those tier 1s until they have that like mech on the Tide and Ravage up again, but
it's a lot to get online here. Even the Weaver, you know, he has quite the build-up on his own. He's going to be going for the straight defensive build-up too. You get the Lincolns, which is great, but, you know, you still might end up lacking in the damage department quite a bit. Puts more onto the shoulders of Super here in his OD. And in between the two of them, it's a lot of single-target DPS. And you're looking at VGJ, who have, like, chaotic wombo combo team fight.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get too, like, just blasted and suddenly can't really organize what they should be focusing on. But here they are, VGJ looking to look for an approach here.
The supports are 6 on VGJ too. LFYs are not 6 yet.
6 stones and Magnetize ready. A lot of potential damage there for them to set up, but it looks like they could hold off for a bit.
The preparation they kind of have already for the, even though the OD was a last pick, their heroes actually work very well versus him. You know, like the Lifestealer has his own built-in range. They have 2 silences on top of that. They have heavy burst for him too. Yeah, it's a really, very well executed like drafting process.
Is he going to be forced into like an early BKB this game?
I think he might be, honestly. I think he might have to just go for some like. And he looks like he's going for the Midas.
Fiend script on the FY, caught on the other side. Can his teammates get close? No, it looks like they know that hit's doom for him. So, ulti going to be committed. He had been perched there for so long, looking for a setup onto Super. Eventually, they'll just roll through the neighborhood and catch him.
Yeah, I think he will need a BKB, but like he can't get it early this game. He has to just go for like this like Midas into like probably just the standard.
What kind of funky action we have going on up here? Rage comes out, full static storm here, trapped under in a battle cage and blasted with the Laguna. He'll be taken out of this one. Now they look to focus around aggressive. Can they get the finish? Tries to run back it away, goes into freeze to make it out from this one. FY shows a beautiful double stun, Magnetize, grips all there, and VGJ just sweep right through him. That was LFY trying to move in for an approach, but, I mean, VGJ just had their number. They isolate, take out the Tidehunter first and foremost. LFY feel eager to try to turn things around, but just a couple of rotations. They didn't even need ROTK. He's about to have his Blink Dagger in the bottom lane. This is a wonderful start for the Radiant.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You look at their lineup now, too, and we maybe didn't really think about this too much, but LFY's lineup actually lacks a lot of damage when their OD isn't really, like, in the fight. He doesn't have, like, he doesn't have his ultimate yet. He doesn't have Sanity's Eclipse. Who is really their damage dealer? It's like they need pretty much very good follow-up on top of a Ravage to have that damage. When you look at VGJ, they have immense amounts of burst, immense amounts of setup.
Yep. I don't see anyone on LFY getting stuff to deal with all that magical burst either. There's no, you know, early glimmer or pipe or any sort of assistance like that. So this is going to be very troublesome. We see the measures taken from LFY to kind of maybe prepare for a later game. Midas on the OD right now. Maybe we'll match up with better timings later on along with the Weaver, but I would just be so nervous about everything before that. I mean, another power peak's coming here for VGJ, and that is going to be this blinking Magnus. He's got the money. He just needs to get to the side shop, and he's going to probably take the secret road there. And if there's anyone in this lane on LFY, they're in trouble.
Yeah, very early. 14 minutes already. Does Tidehunter have his mech finished yet? Still no. But he should have it very soon after he finishes up this ancient stack. Top lane, White getting initiated on. FY gets everything connected.
Ooh,
the 2 supports making the plays.
Yeah, and they'll be able to take care of him, no problem. Glimpse send back for the Bane as well. Just don't even be here. And now they can add some pressure even onto the tier 1. Over nearby, though, LFY trying to take some momentum back. They smoke up and go on the move. They cross past. They'll see aggressive, and they hit him right away with the feed script. Can they burst him with the damage, though?
There's following. There's more coming from VGJ now.
All
aggressive
going.
Should be fine.
They show up to the shrine, and they're going to be here for a fight. LFY have to pull off. This is not a fight they're going to be able to win. It looks like so. 7 more seconds for Ravage could make it a better case, but it's just too late. Swing and a miss on the gank for them.
I mean, talked about it. Their damage, the lack of damage. He gets Rage off. The OD does no damage.
Yeah,
they don't have any follow-up.
He's just tapping him right now. No big damaging items for him or the Weaver. And Fiend's Grip alone is not going to do enough. Certainly when this Lifestealer has these kind of items. Armlet already done, a hammer in hand. Now they're thinking about an approach onto a tier 1 in the bottom lane, even kind of diving through the tower. Fenrir's here right now, but they're posturing up for a counterfight possibly. This could be the first RP of the game if ROTK can maybe show up, but for now they're just kind of slow sieging, not looking to get themselves too far out of position, but they do move in for the sleep. Can Fenrir show? Well, he gets spotted by the bugs. Both these supports might be taken down, it looks like. VGJ rolls up north to make it out, but they are going to quickly crush Fenrir. FY's like, birds, finish me off! And they'll get it. Nice little neutral deny. VGJ will lose their supports and their tier 1 in the bottom lane, but, I mean, you have aggressive farming elsewhere quite a bit. It's not the worst thing ever for the...
Freeze finishes up his Bloodstone now, too.
Oui.
It just looked like they wanted to fight. Like, the two supports were like, we should fight. And even ROTK was like, all right, I'm grabbing a smoke. I'm on my way there. But the other two were like, we have to TP 2 heroes into the bottom lane. We know Fiend's Grip is down, but they still have Ravage. It's always awkward when you don't have, like, that setup. You know, the ideal setup is, all right, TP tier 2 as your mag, you know, smoke the supports, and then one person TPs on a tier 1 and one person's already there. So you already have all 5 quickly. If you have to TP 2 heroes and the other ones aren't there yet, it makes it very awkward. So nice little catch there from LFY showing some life in them, but VGJ just farming and happy with that.
Supports are able to kind of benefit a little bit from it. Suddenly Slardar is, you know, making his way towards a Blink Dagger in due time. A full party rotation up towards that top lane, though. It looks like they were able to creep in. Freeze gets that tier 1 tower. Goes right back to the side lane here. Straight to Shadowblade seems to be next on the docket for the Lina. But maybe building up some Bloodstone charges might be appealing here to VGJ soon enough.
Now, he's got like instant respawn already anyway, so I mean he can just get in the back lines and kill
someone. Is that how
respawn.
early the...
Yeah,
oh my god, it's the level...
Minus,
I didn't realize it was
10,
it's a level 10 talent?
Lina and Lion both have minus 30-second respawns as the 10 talents, which are incredibly powerful.
I mean, you know that he as in the Frog, probably put it at that early because you're figuring for a support Lina.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he ever considered the core Bloodstone Lina. That's crazy. All right, well, Freeze... for now, continuing to farm his way through that Shadowblade. But, yeah, it means that one fight he can quickly double back, even if you catch him out at the start. But they're going for Roche. Quick roll in from FY. Tried to be a cheeky one there, but they are going to be able to quickly snag it up. It's Monet who gets the extra life. FY is able to dish out some magnetized damage here, but I don't know if it's enough. Oh! Fake, pump fake on the RP. Gets slept. Kinetic field is there. He pops off the real RP, and that's when Freeze steps in. Hits immediate Laguna. They save him a bit with the Astral, but he's hiding within the Roche's side, and he's got to hang in there in the meantime. But crushing on forward is going to be aggressive. They get the one takedown. He hops out from that pit, hits him with the Ravage. Freeze getting bopped here from Super, trying to make it back in a way. And it looks like he'd be able to create a little bit of space.
And he's going to
get blasted, and he's back. That is crazy.
The cool thing about it, too, is that some people like look at Bloodstone. They always forget, like, Bloodstone AoE heals your team too when you die. So when you're like those heroes, you can just run in, you die, you heal your team up as well, and you get all your spells off. So it's a really cool approach that people have been taking.
I saw that in one of the DPL games, and I want to see VGL's game too, where Freeze had to commit Sudoku to quickly blast off the heal for his ally, and then just quickly TP back into the fight. So, damn. Well, at the end of that one, it is going to be LFY who kind of come out ahead there. They get their Roche. Age is still in hand, still good for them. It was a bit of an awkward initiation there for VGJ, but you know, LFY are able to shrug it off a bit.
It was just a great move by LFY too. They just did it so quickly with the amp damage and then the Weaver bugs. They just went in. It was unexpected from VGJ. ROTK couldn't get like a good RP initially, and then he got a decent one, but then the Tidehunter gets the Ravage off anyway. Very close to not getting the Ravage off. His actual raindrop saved him twice. So that's the only reason like that fight went out. But now they have Sanity's Eclipse. Super decides to go for it. Now, very late, he went for like the full 4-4-4 build before going for it at all. So just kind of going for like that straight farming action.
Yeah, and it looks like obviously finishing out that Hurricane Pike is next on the docket for him. So his damage is coming together. We saw a bit of it in that last fight. Something they certainly need, but we have yet to see VGJ kind of lead in with a fight. Aside from like the early laning stage when they're harassing the lanes a bit, they haven't been able to kind of, I haven't seen them smoke and try to take too many initiations, you know?
They seem very content with just the farming. Like Freeze is just playing very aggressively in the top side, farming those camps. Everyone else is trying to maximize as much as possible. Aggressive, constantly taking Ancients with the Empower. Now is the time to go. Freeze is heavily pushing in the top lane. They smoke 3 people. FY showing mid. This should be pretty decent move for them. It does look like LFY expects this, though. They are very set up for this one. Ravage is on cooldown for another 20 seconds, though, so this could be a very ideal time for VG to go.
And they look to head out the other way here. VGJ join the side of Freeze. They'll see Bane in the lane, and he looks like an easy target. Hey! Blink in, Skewer back. He gets the self-sleep off, but obviously going to get quickly bursted thereafter. Easy food gobbled up there for Aggressive. His life steal will take it.
Yep, didn't have to commit anything. Skewer is very low cooldown, only 25 seconds. They can just continue to pressure this tower top. Trying to get eyes on the Tidehunter, though. FY actually does. So he sees him. Sees that he has a hood. Sees that he has a mech. No blink dagger recognized, more than likely.
A lot of confidence. VGJ going into a team that has that Aegis right now. 2 more minutes for it. And Monet here finishes out his Lincolns, looking to build up into that Deso next. But we'll see. VGJ, are they looking to hang around? No. Looks like they'll pull all the way off.
Efficiency, man.
Yeah.
They're like, we've been up here too long.
They know they've been winning the economy game, it feels like.
Yeah.
But do you think big picture-wise they want to continue to kind of play at this pace, or is there just a point when VGJ need to turn it up and maybe be at risk for LFY's late game?
They seem to be perfectly fine with it with their idea, so I think that they're okay with this. They are very confident in the ROTK mag with the follow-up.
He is also going to be going to Shadow Blade. Maybe they want to wait to get both of them done here. He's about to have his right now, and I think Lena, already has her complete. She's sieging away at a tier 2 with really no threats at all.
This could be a big fight
is,
top.
Possibly watching him. Oh, God, he doesn't know it, but he is really close to trouble.
White has a blink dagger finished up now on the Slardar.
And he's
So
at bottom.
A bit later than than you would really want it, but it's still good to grab it at this time. Because now they didn't see it yet either. He was hidden when he purchased it and hit on the side.
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
They swing through, recognizing the push pressure there from the mid lane, and now we have an RP bomb potentially. It looks like Aggressive is saddled up inside the Magnus here and are going to pop out of it. Okay, well.
They're very content with just farming.
Just back to
both
farming.
teams just reluctant to fight into the ults. That's really what it is. It's like, okay, Ravage is up, RP's up, Fiend's all right, let's not fight. Every ult is up, don't fight. Wait for them to clump, wait for them to make a mistake at the tier 1s. That's probably what VG is expecting. Waiting for that Aegis to just tick out as well. No point in forcing an engagement.
Yeah, this is going to be real tough here for both sides. A lot of things to consider. The Ravage rushing in. Bane, you even need to make sure you kind of keep tabs on here. I'm curious what he looks to build up. It looks like he's going to save for a gem, but I was like, do you get like an Aether Lens or a Glimmer or Force Staff?
He wishes.
But he's right now he's like, I'm Wards and Gem.
Yeah. Wards, Gem, he's going to be, and then he's going to become the Enfeeble guy, when he just throws Enfeebles from a distance.
Oh, for sure.
Still maximizing, though. How's net worth and experience going? Experience, dead even. Net worth, 2,000 in advantage of Vici. So very close game still. Even after what we kind of thought was going to be more of a
heavy-handed advantage for VGJ.
Yeah.
I got to give more credit to LFY. They've recovered from a bit of a tough start.
It was great. The Roche call. That Roche move was just like they're
now look at this.
awakening.
They're smoked, and they are so close. But ROTK, he's in Shadow Blade. Pops the smoke, goes for the RP, connects onto the one. White quickly going to be shredded apart here. Does get a brief save from the Astral, but they will finish off the Bane. As he comes back, it looks like he may be able to slither away from trouble. Aggressive, retreating away from the OD. Will jump into the Disruptor on this one. Freeze. Comes back out from hiding, gets the stun, but it's very awkward. Still got that Ravage. LFY will just take their leave.
Yeah, beautiful Astro from Super, saving White there. The amount of damage potential, though, from just the empowered Lifestealer is so ridiculous.
He hits.
Like the Desolator, Yasha, I mean, he's very farmed, of course, but, man, it's pretty much non-stop double damage for him when he's empowered.
Mm-hmm. Not the biggest kind of RP setup right there for ROTK, but just kind of a frantic situation, I'd imagine, once he's Shadowbladed and sees everyone from LFY just kind of suddenly there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get the Slardar in it with it too, but the Slardar blinked at the same exact time.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit unfortunate for them.
So he'll go back towards the bottom lane right here, right now. Doesn't have anything queued up yet as far as what he wants to go for next, while mid lane, LFY begin their new approach here.
Oh, Freeze is in some trouble.
Top
FY has to cancel.
lane.
Oh, nice play.
Makes it out. Good cancel there from FY. Prince will be Alsavia, and it looks like Freeze will be able to make it away. Rotations come out, and they're still pursuing here. LFY with a sprint gets connection with the Blink Crush, hits him with the amp damage. FY going to be forced to Boulder Smash to keep him away, but now the rotations come out, and that's when the Ravage hits. It's going to get the finish on FY. ROTK might have just jumped into a bad party here. Gets hit with the amp damage. He is trying to run away. Will be able to blink out, but he's still eating some shots here. VGJ totally go on retreat mode, and we'll just have to take the one support hit. That could have been a lot worse.
It could have definitely, but they didn't have RP ready. They didn't have Disruptor ult ready. They were just like trying to bail out as much as possible. But I really like Vichi's wards this game. The way they've been emphasizing, they've been putting them all over the top side, all over the enemy jungle, just constantly forcing the pressure because their jungle hasn't really been too contested. It's like that one smoke rotation that LFY did, or the 2 smoke rotations that LFY did throughout the game now. Both went into the favor of Vici. So they're like, okay, just stay on their side of the map, force them to make the mistakes.
All right, blink in hand here for FY. And doesn't look like they have a smoke. Oh, they do. They do have one on Fenrir here. Probably could look to take a fight as Roche is going to be approaching once again. It'd be
it
nice
got
to
spotted
take a
by the
fight
sword, though.
Fall back.
LFY did see the smoke.
They ping it, and it looks like they're going to wait in the safety of their own base, which is good. Rolling FY bomb at the ready here in case anyone does make their approach, but it does look like LFY are going to be playing this extra safe. And they're around in the corner here to the high ground. Maybe could catch sight of White here. So close.
They're both just invis. It's not the smoke. So the smoke did break, but they were invis, and they're like, oh, where is he? RLTK was shadow bladed.
They see him now. Could he actually glimpse him from there?
Oh, just lost vision.
That's close. And VGJ not going to find the opening for the smoke they were hoping to get, and they're going to have to go right back to the books again.
Again, though, these very aggressive wards now, this time on the other side of the map, but still kind of doing the same kind of impact. Keeping LFY just kind of contained in their base a bit, and now they're going to pressure the bottom lane with this one.
Just the most basic, like, mid-lane ward. One you don't suspect. Spotting out the whole movement there. VGJ still hanging by the old secret shop here on Dire's side.
Yeah, they know that LFY is literally just stuck in their base right now, and Freeze is like, okay, I'm just going to hit this tier 2 while we're all set up here.
Thinking about a blink skewer towards the team? Nah.
No, they're fine with this. This was I mean, free tier 2. The lanes are being pressured. They look at both other side lanes. LFY is not farming either of them, so they're like, okay, that was a massive win for us. Now we can go do kind of like whatever we want. Now we have Aghanims finished up on the Lina. He's level 18.
Yeah, Roche is up. I wonder if VGJ could go there and get it done. I mean, it is LFY who kind of have slightly the better team to do it, but yeah, Aggressive's going right in there. That's good. They could take that away from LFY. That'd be a bit crippling, but I think LFY are going to be privy to it. They already ping it out and start heading towards their own shrine here. And it looks like Aggressive doesn't like this at all. He stepped away. Doesn't want to risk getting caught out. While mid lane, what's this kind of setup here? There's a quick silence, a blink away. ROTK hit with the Astral, but will be able to make it out before being kidnapped.
Vici has no idea that they're just sitting in vision.
Oh, boy, jump in. There's a Ravage. There goes the Astral. Huge connection bomb comes out from LFY. A Laguna response, but it's too much from LFY on this one as they take an early initiative in this fight and wipe the floor with 3.
That mid ward, spotting the smoke initially, now setting up for a beautiful Ravage. Yep. That was really well played by them.
Very high value for him right there. And Aggressive hiding within that range creep still, but that was a huge fight for LFY. And now they can double back, and they're going to be the ones to take Roche again. Suddenly, this team is really up on the up and up. Where are they at right now as far as the net worth goes? Yep.
Should still be Vici favored for the most part, just because of that whole sequence of events that happened the last, like, before that fight happened. They were pressuring all 3 lanes kind of and farming, and LFY was not really doing anything. They were just kind of trapped in their base. But, yeah, very good at momentum.
Not enough, at least for them to be able to move in and take the Roche. I guess they fear for the lower spawn timer of ROTK, not using RP yet. They could still go in there and make some stuff happen. No Static Storm is the one thing on cooldown here for another 30 seconds, but outside of that, they still seem content on taking a fight. And we kind of
Ravage. They got to go fight. No Ravage, no Sanity's Eclipse. This is the place to take a fight. They they got to force the engagement.
ROTK waiting on one side. VGJ happened to kind of go into the pit and force LFY to respond to them. Here comes the swarm of bugs. Around too aggressive here. And Tidehunter.
He's got to watch himself. The Static Storm is up in about 5 seconds.
He's creeping in there. He still wants to have a say in the matter.
They can burst him pretty easily with the Laguna as well. He needs to be a little bit careful.
LFY, though, doing a nice job, at least with their positioning here, hiding within a safe territory under their sentry, not looking to get spotted out and hit too fast. Aggressive looking to move in here. Gets hit with a Fiend's Grip. The RP will quickly cancel it there from ROTK, while a Static Storm does come out right onto the head of the Tidehunter. Him with the Laguna and get the finish. Also take out White. A buyback comes out from the Tidehunter here, and that is when VGJ just double back.
Slight miscommunication by VGJ there. ROTK was like, oh my god, he's Fiend's Grip. I need to stop the Fiend's Grip with RP, but FY was already on the case. He got the stun right away. But still, it looked pretty good for them there.
I want to be the aggressive savior here, but now it's aggressive here. A little bit of pressure. Jump in now. Big hit with the Anchor Smash there. Pops the dust. They see Freeze. He moves back to the high ground. Pops a stun onto the Weaver. He's going to get help from the Astral.
They don't care about the Tide. Like, he doesn't have Ravage, but now he does. It has just come back up off of cooldown.
Will they know? There it is, the recommitment. A big one at that will allow him to get the quick finish onto ROTK. Aggressive on the high ground, going to be forced to double back. Freeze trying to hide within the Shadow Blade, makes a hasty retreat, but the chase is on, and then it's quickly off.
Vici does seem to have like a little bit of decision worries, I would feel. Like it looked like they were like, oh, we need to go for the Weaver, just ignore the Tidehunter. And then like, oh man, Ravage is up, and then they overcommitted down into the river. So a little bit of miscommunication does seem like happens for VGJ. Freeze.
Ooh, gets hit with an Astral, gets hit with a Sleep, a jump in, now a Crush. Freeze could be in a bit of trouble. They hit him with a Gush, and they'll take him down. The finish is there by Super. Now securing a Mega Kill streak. Aggressive looking to get back in the action. Going to be forced to infest now. Pops right back out.
Freeze is alive already. They have to remember this.
He goes back in, but he gets crushed under a Shadow Blade. Conveniently there for White. He goes to the back lines now, blasts down Super with a hell of a Laguna, and takes him right out of the game. Now the Sleep response trying to help out, but it's Tidehunter who's going to get trapped behind. He's a big boy, but they should be able to slowly bring him down. FY looking for more of a grab here, blinking all the way in after a Boulder Smash. Doesn't want to be going too far. But again, we'll see what starts as very strongly favored for LFY, but VGJ, they have that ridiculous
respawn time. He was just up in like 12 seconds. He just comes back in, even though Aggressive was under a little bit of pressure there. He was inside the creep. Freeze just glides through the back line with the Shadow Blade. 2 shots the OD with the Laguna.
He's got 12 charges. It's as if nothing ever happened.
And now he's, I mean, it's not an instant respawn at all, but it's up. Ooh. And now they go get a solo RP onto Monet.
And they skewer the Beetle all the way back, and they burst down the Aegis. Okay, that's nice. They'll get rid of the extra life. He does still have that time lapse. ROTK doing a lot of damage here. Oh, look at this. A setup, a Kinetic Storm. Beautifully done. Fenrir and VGJ just ready to go with that second life, and they will take the Weaver out of the game. He does have a buyback, and he may need to use it here. He's out for a minute otherwise, and their racks are going to be threatened. Already tier 3 down. Rax is exposed. They're making their move in.
He knows they can't fight. He's like, we don't have Ravage up. We don't have Sanity's Eclipse up. Even if I buy back here, it's just a waste of my gold. So I think that was a good decision for him to hold it, but big favor swinging toward VGJ. They're claiming that melee Rax, claiming themselves a couple kills as well.
They take that. They walk away, and they got to be feeling pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah. AC going to be finished up now on the Lifestealer. It's ROTK. ROTK now is going to have BKB, so the setups are much easier for him. Mm-hmm. Other than that, the other ones are just luxury items coming out for the support soon. Blink almost like 1,000, halfway there for Fenrir, while FY almost has a Yule's finished up. Some more setup. Yule's is very good with whenever you have a Disruptor on your team. And to break Lincolns, of course. You break the Lincolns, and then you can easily set up for a Kinetic Static Storm.
It's going pretty deep here. But obviously without that huge momentum, VGJ happy to step back into the farming game now. That
was a gem lost in that engagement, too. I actually did not notice that in the midst
Banes,
of it.
Right?
Yeah, the Bane lost the gem, and now the Lifestealer has it. So it's a pretty big swing. LFY has been struggling a bit to have vision in this game.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and they don't really have much of anything here.
Yeah,
they
just
do have
that one ward.
One little defensive ward by their own shrine, but VGJ have like eyes in their jungle and can kind of read the map well. They probably have a general idea right now where LFY are pretty much migrated. And VGJ are actually going to smoke and head into LFY's jungle space now. Maybe hoping for someone to be rotating towards that top lane.
It feels like these ults are just always up for Vici. Like RP's back, Static Storm's back.
It's 2 minutes, but it feels like the fights have been every 2 minutes, so it kind of works out here.
They get the glimpse.
Oh,
Static
man.
Storm, Jishing's in a lot of trouble here.
Take him out.
The Astral for him.
Okay, good little save. Super has to pop his BKB to get into the fight to help him out, though. Now he shows up. He's got that Ravage, jumps in, beautiful connection onto 3, followed up with the Astral Bomb, and now it's going to be RTK with his own response, and BKB moves in, gets the RP. They're going to get the finish onto Super, and the double kill. Both cores already going to be taken out of this one. White's going to be next, and VGJ, the biggest opening they've had so far. They'll also get the finish on the Tidehunter. 4 go down. And so will the remaining racks here in the mid lane and potentially a threat towards the top. No buybacks either for anyone. This could be game.
I think this might just be game, yeah. Beautiful synergy coming out for them there. They landed the RP on 2. Follow-up kick, follow-up kick from FY into the silence. The Weaver couldn't get anything off either. And yeah, I think that's just going to be it.
Yep, that will do it. I mean, what do you give a lot of the credit to? VGJ, a lot of team fight here, a lot of patience, recognizing the game when they kind of just want to take it slow, and then suddenly like, all right, now it's our time to go. Playing around the Ravages really well.
I think that's the big thing is they played really well around their ultimates, and they just seemed very content with the game. They were just like, I'm aggressive. I'm this lifestealer. You guys can't really kill me. You have to expend so much to really bring him down. You have to kind of isolate him heavily because there's just so many different ways for Vici to peel you off of him, and then he just rages, and a lot of your damage is just nullified. So
yeah, maybe you could punish the lifestealer in the early game so he can't get to that point, but they were just lacking that damage. We saw that one gank where they got him, like a convenient gank attempt 3-on-1, Fiend's Grip, but they're like, okay, we have a Fiend's Grip, but now we're just throwing pillows at him and tickling him, and it's not doing anything. So if they wanted to kind of nip it in the bud in the early game, they were unable to do it there. So you might kind of chalk it up to a little bit of just the draft as well. And you were saying that when you're looking over just based on a lot of the recent games that, LGD Forever Young seem to be kind of their drafting game is one of their more weaker aspects. Not that it's bad, but it's definitely something that maybe they need to kind of continue to work toward.
Yeah, because they had some good decision-making in that game. That Roche was like a big swing for them, but Vici just looking a bit more prepared and just playing better around their ultimates and just playing with better vision. But that being said, I still think that Vici looked very shaky compared to the Vici that I expected to see today.
Yeah, I was definitely expecting more of a dominant showing there, but we'll see. Maybe game number 2 will show some different stuff. That's Fogged. I'm Dakota. We'll be back after a short break for game 2 of VGJ versus LFY. We'll see you soon.